Everything starts with people. You have to hire them, you have to train them, and you have to retain them. But it is important that you equip. In order to do that, you have to set your culture. Because even if you take the most brilliant person on earth, he or she cannot know what you have in mind for your business and how you want you to deal with customers. You have to transmit that because people are the ones that will deal with your customers.
You're listening to CX Passport, the show about creating great customer experiences with a dash of travel talk. Each episode, we'll talk with our guests about great CX, travel, and just like the best journeys, explore new directions we never anticipated. I'm your host, Rick Denton. I believe the best meals are served outside and require a passport. Let's get going. Bonjour, CX Passport travelers, and all apologies to those of you who can truly speak the French language. I'm just so excited to have another new country checked off the list for CX Passport guests. It does seem like we're in sort of a CX Passport European tour this year, and I love it. With the Summer Olympics in France later this year, we're recording this episode in the spring of 2024. I know I probably can't get an in-person trip put together. But today we get to head to France as we get to talk with Francesca Tempestini, a deeply focused employee experience advocate. With over 17 years of diverse experience in sales, primarily B2B, Francesca's passion for customer and employee experience is evident throughout her career. Formerly with Disneyland Paris, Francesca served in guest relations and care roles, resolving conflicts and ensuring exceptional guest experiences. Now, those of us in the CX world, we hold Disney experience in high regard for good reasons. Francesca's tenure in guest relations equipped her with the skills in conflict resolution, exceptional service, and positive guest interactions, all of which are critical and crucial components in delivering memorable customer experiences beyond the magical realm of Disney. Francesca's expertise extends beyond sales. She's a former Disney volunteer, and the spelling of that is volunteer, E-A-R, and I love that, now involved with Make-A-Wish, spreading joy to children. She believes her true purpose lies in making people happy, evident in her dedication to creating events, sharing knowledge, and connecting people. Francesca, welcome to CX Passport.
Hello, Rick. Thank you very much. Thank you for this fantastic introduction and for having me. It's a real pleasure.
Yay. I am. I'm excited about France. I'm excited about Disney. I'm excited about talking with you. Now, one thing, you look at my hands going. Francesca did say that while she is in France, she is Italian. And so we're all going to try to stay within the realms of our video frames, but we'll just see how things go. I love the global nature of CX Passport, both the guests and the listeners.
Maybe we can check two countries then, France and Italy.
That's right. I like it. Francesca, I have talked with so many folks on CX Passport who later realized in life what they've been doing all along was customer experience in their career, well before it was labeled CX. How did you come to that realization that what you were doing at Disney was some of the best proving ground for customer experience?
Of course, I realized it later after I left Disney. And in my case, everything started by a book, not by a mouse, but it's a book that I bought in a Disney pilgrimage to Glendale, which is the campus, the Imagineer campus in California, where the artists and inventors and architects and they all come together and create magic and invent and plot the new rides that we're gonna have of everything related to Disney. So I went there. And as a cast member, I could just go to the cafeteria or to the bookshop. In the bookshop, I bought this book, which is Be My Guest. Be My Guest is a book about quality service delivered by the Disney Institute. I bought it and I read it. And I started to realize that it was talking about everything of my day-to-day. But I didn't know what the Disney Institute was. So I started researching for Disney Institute, and I found out that it's an armed branch of Disney that since the 80s, it delivers training and programs for any organization worldwide, which wants to know how Disney works and how what is the approach to business, the Disney approach to business. So I started to question and see that probably these learnings that I was having at Disney, where I was afraid of the real world and I was afraid of stepping and in any company, not really, and saying that I was coming from Disney. I was expecting them to think that it was all flying elephants and Lion Kings and magic, and I wasn't really capable of handling situation and handling products and customers. Yeah. By reading this book and by attending a conference by Bruce Temkin of Qualtrics, I realized that I was wrong, that customer experience and employee experience exist, and they are absolutely Disney style. So yeah. I had this revelation. I said, hey, I know something that can actually work in the real world. So I was really happy.
I love that. And, there's two things. Well, there's 1,000 things in there that I love. But one is the fact that you referred to it as a Disney pilgrimage. And what a brilliant I love that you did your Disney pilgrimage to Glendale. And then for those that are watching on video, I'm pointing to a book. This isn't a virtual background. It's for a bookshelf. That is Be Our Guest, sitting right back there where my finger is pointing. And I absolutely think that book is brilliant, Francesca. Yes. And have gotten a lot of epiphanies out of it as well. And so I'm glad that discovery that, hey, what I've been doing is customer experience. And there's a lot into doing customer experience that we talk about. There's an art, and there's a process to delivering customer experience that comes across without it feeling, like CXy, too scripted. You've talked about how for you, this is just a reflex. I'm curious, how do you help others develop that just natural feeling reflex towards customer experience?
Well, a lot of it comes from my Disney background, because what I am today, what I've learned, stick to me. So I cannot help today to stop talking when a client comes into my office, or smiling when I am over the phone. So all these things that I learned at Disney, I do apply them in my everyday life. And I realized that whenever you are new to a company, people look at you, what you do, how you do it. And so, of course, they repeat what you do. It's a reflex, yes, because everything that I learned at Disney was so natural and so obvious to me that I couldn't avoid doing it. And has been imprinted in my brain ever since. But even the fact of pointing with two fingers or with your palm instead of just one accusatory finger, which is a Disney thing as well, that stuck in my head. So today, what I am just myself, and everything that I apply, that they see that it worked at Disney, I know that it works everywhere else, and I just do it.
This is your captain speaking. I want to thank you for listening to CX Passport today. We've now reached our cruising altitude, so I'll turn that seatbelt sign off. While you're getting comfortable, hit that follow or subscribe button on your favorite podcast app so you'll never miss an episode. Love it if you'd tell a friend about CX Passport. Leave a review so others can discover the show as well. Now, sit back and enjoy the rest of the episode.
I like that reflex. I think there's got to be a challenge, though, in helping others. It's funny that you mentioned the point thing. I didn't hear it from Disney. I heard it sort of in a cultural sort of thing. I do the same thing, that I'm pointing to folks. Here's how you go to the certain place. So I guess Disney has found its way getting into many other areas as well. When you come across someone who's struggling, maybe struggling is the wrong word, but you can tell it's just not natural. How do you help someone kind of go into that naturalness, that where it's not that they're thinking, how can I deliver great customer experience? It's just, they just do customer experience.
You have 2 points of view. First, you have to consider yourself as a client as well, because you want to be treated and you treat the others like you would like to be treated. So that's one of the principle of customer experience and of the Disney experience. And then, like one of my mentor would say, which is Lee Cockrell, what would my mother do? He will actually do what his mother would do, and it's true. I mean, if someone comes to me and asks for indication, I would not be rude, for instance. So this
Right.
normal and instinctive reflex, that's what you do in customer experience. You just be polite. That's the key of everything. And you treat others like you would like to be treated. It's as simple as that.
I'm laughing because I think we could go there's a specific way I want us to go next, but I think we could do an entire podcast around, well, wait, if CX is that easy, why does customer experience and customer service suck so badly? But we won't do that. We're going to go a different path here, although I may have you back on to talk about if it's as simple as, like, 'cause you're right, be polite, do the golden rule. We should all be fine. I think actually the next question I want to ask you, though, may get into some of that. And that is, when I think about Disney, and it is one of the most complex beasts that's out there. Just imagine the park alone, but then the park is a piece of a larger Disney enterprise. But thinking of the park at Disney, you were guest relations. And that means no matter what the concern was, no matter what the issue was, whether it was dining, whether it was rides, whether it was entertainment, whether it was parking, you were the face of the Disney brand. So when you're in that moment, how did you approach being that face of the brand? How did you incorporate all those other areas in solutions after that initial concern was solved?
The first important thing to know is that I was trained. And it looks basic and obvious, but no, it is not.
Oh, that's cool. No, that's huge, right? You weren't just there totally alone. You were equipped.
I was equipped, correct. So today, what it is important in any company that wants to deal with customer experience is to equip their own employees. So I knew at least the basics. So I knew what Disney wants the business to go on. How does Disney want to be seen, to be perceived? I knew that, and I had this clear in my head. From there, I had, and I have today in my day-to-day 4 steps that I follow. First is to listen to the client, to what he has to say, and to use empathy. You have to walk into his steps. You cannot arrive with your ideas and your judgments. You have to listen, be actively listening. And then you will have to investigate. So, of course, I will listen to the client, but then this is his perception. Let's see if I can get some more information. So what I like of that job is that I would be in contact with everyone, and every day I would discover some new department which I didn't know that existed. And
I believe that.
Yes. But it was fantastic. So it would take some time maybe, but I would actually end up to talk to the right person and ask and see if someone that was involved in the situation was still there, if I could have this version. So it is important to check the facts. And the third will be go back to the client and find a solution or offer a solution or an agreement. So you have to find a path in which your customer is happy and you know that you did your best for your company. But then there is a last step, which is absolutely not neglectable, which is report. You have to report what happened to your peers, to your superiors, and they have to report it to their peers and their superiors, because everyone needs to know what's going on. Why is that? First of all, is because this might be a real issue, real problem, a real big problem that that department might not be aware of. So you have to let them know, because every issue has to be taken care of right away. So you have to, it's not for your glory, it's not for pat on your shoulder. No, that's something serious that happened. It has to be, we cannot be hide. We cannot go and hide. We have to face it. So otherwise, if it's some small issue, not really important, you still have to report it. Why is that? Because your peers might have the same situation tomorrow or in some weeks, or so you will save their time, their customers' time, if they know that it has already been solved in this way. Or in the same time, even this is not an issue, even though this might not be an issue today, if it comes back in a week or in 2 or in 3 and again, it can become a problem. So by knowing that this already occurred, you can actually make 1 + 1 + 1 and realize that something which was not a problem yesterday, it is important and has to be checked today. So report is really, really important. So everything goes back to communication. You communicate with your client and you hear what he has to say, and then you involve everyone that has to be involved in your company. So it is clear in my head now.
You have spoken. I think you've spoken into my customer experience love language, which was process, and listening to here are the 4 things that I go through, starting from empathy, but then ending at report, and that idea of it's great to restore the customer's relationship there in step 3. But step 4 of report is so vital to making sure that the next customer doesn't experience that thing, and that process improvement that takes place in a company can't happen if that input, then in your case, you're calling it a report. But if you think about customer insights coming in from the frontline employees being used to then improve the company, it's such an absolute vital path to having a brand, having a company be able to deliver consistently good experiences for their customers.
It's a point of growth. Every problem comes to you. It's not a shame. It's a shame if you leave it there and if you just don't treat it. Otherwise, if it's reported and you take care of it, even though it's a fault of someone, doesn't matter. The important is that you actually use it as a leverage for your company. I think that's crucial today. And whenever this is not done, it's really devastating.
Yeah, and you get into an area that I don't know that we have the time to unpack today, but around trust, that you have to be inside of a company that has that level of trust to where it's okay to report things, that it's not about blame, it's about fixing and improving and the like. You may be coming back to CX Passport for us to unpack a little bit of that aspect of it. I want to do something though and take advantage of the fact that I am talking to someone who's in France. Today is the 25th of March, and the Olympics, 25th of March 2024. The Summer Olympics are going to be taking place in France this summer. And I love the Olympics. I've always been a big fan of them, and I just get excited about them. You get to be there sort of on the front lines. There are going to be people coming from all over the world to experience what France has to offer. I'm really curious what you, there on the ground, think about the delivery of customer experience and the perception of customer experience in France. What should Olympics travelers expect this summer?
A lot of people.
All right, a lot of people. End of episode. All right, next.
Not many Parisians, so we're all fleeing away.
I can see the Parisians saying, I am out of here. I am not being a part of this. Yeah.
Yes. No, it's good. They're going to find a fantastic city, which I chose to live in many years ago. And in summer, when sun is here, it's absolutely adorable and fantastic. So, of course, they will have to come with a lot of patience, because a lot of people means queuing and the transportation is normally efficient, but might incur some problems when it's really, really crowded. But yeah, I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. And even though I am fleeing, when I had the opportunity of, I'm leaving, but first I am going to see a match. So I actually got a ticket and I'm going to stay there and leave and see how it's going to be like. But then I'm going to go something nice, not nicer, calmer. Yes.
Francesca, I love that. What are the travelers going to experience? Not a lot of Parisians. We're all leaving. So that's absolutely brilliant. Well, if you're going to be doing some traveling, and for you, it's leaving the Olympics, maybe you get a little chance to take a little break in the lounges as you're doing your traveling. I know whatever travels you're doing, it can be nice to stop off in the lounge. So let's do that here today. Join me here in the First Class Lounge. We're going to move quickly and have a little bit of fun here. What is a dream travel location from your past?
Every travel that I did is related to memories, and that's important. I think that if I think of wherever I've been, I think of places, but of people as well. So I cannot just pick one. if I have to, of course, I will pick the last destination I had, which was Chile. And I went there with my family, which is spread in the world. So it was nice to have a moment and have memories together.
Tell me, so Chile is one of the places I've not been, even though I'm Western Hemisphere, but I mean, heck, Europe is closer to me than Chile, actually. And you were there, I guess, did you say you just were there recently?
I was there in January this year, yes.
So you were there for summer for Chile.
Yes.
Tell me what it was like there. What was the Chilean travel experience like?
Well, I've learned that when you are living in a cold country, like for me at least, like Paris, like Paris can be in winter, having a summer break in winter, it's fantastic. It's the best thing you can do. But I really love the country. It's so big and different, and you can find all kind of temperatures and panoramas, and it is something that I have to go back to. I did not see all of it, but I still have a long list of things to see and to take on my bucket. I love to see the houses of Neruda, for instance. I was really impressed by the soul that lived in his houses. That's really something to do.
Oh, man. And there's something special about a trip that you leave and you say, I have to come back here. I didn't get to see it all. I like leaving a trip, leaving a location in that way. Looking forward, what is a dream travel location you've not been to yet?
I have many, but I'm really considering Thailand. For some reason, it's calling me.
Excellent.
So the historical part and the sea, of course.
Yes,
it's something that's really interesting.
It's a place I've been to a couple times. I actually have now family that has married into, and so we have Thai lineage inside the family. And the food, the culture, the people, it's brilliant. You're gonna love it when you do finally get there. And I mentioned food, and that's one of the things I really do love about Thailand. What is a favorite thing of yours to eat?
I'm Italian. I like pizza, of course.
Okay, all right, Italian and pizza. There we go. I like that. Well. Okay, Italian, let's go the other direction. What is something growing up you were forced to eat, but you hated as a kid?
Beans. I was especially soybeans, because soy was considered very healthy. No, not a fan at all.
I like that. No, give me my pizza, get rid of the beans. Brilliant. All right, we're unfortunately about to have to exit the lounge here, but I'm curious. What is one travel item, not including your phone, not including your passport, of course, that you will not leave home?
I like to have a pad with me or a notebook, something on which I can write down impressions of memories of people, of places, of smells. And of course, the camera works as well, but I need to write. And I always have something to write.
There's something really beautiful about that. I like the simplicity, and something you said in there actually caught me. Not just the journaling, but the smells, right? A phone is a digital image is not going to capture that, but journaling, what that smell was like, what that experience was like, walking through a street market, and be it the unpleasant of something or the really just delightful food being cooked or something, all of that, bringing those memories back. Smell has an incredible way of doing that.
Yes, or color or something, and writing down, you can actually note it all.
I love it. And I like that. Huh. Funny you mentioned color. I won't go into this story, but there's a particular Degas painting that I got to see in the Soviet Union in 1990 or 91 that a color actually caught me in the Pushkin Museum back then. So you're right. Color has a way of sticking in your memories.
Yes.
Disney is obviously brilliant at that, right? Disney's brilliant with the smells and sights and colors and doing all that. But it's one thing. Okay, we can talk about Disney. I get it. We do for good reason. Yet not every person, not every company, not every team has this Disney budget, this Disney experience, even, this Disney buy-in around experience. How can someone who's at their company today, who wants to do right by the customer and employee experience too, I want to do that sentence again. I'm sorry. How can someone who wants to do right by customer and employee experience, even if they don't have the Disney budget, get started?
Well, everything starts with people. You have to hire them, you have to train them, and you have to retain them. So it is important that you have around you the right people and you have to equip them, as we were mentioning before. In order to do that, you have to set your culture, because even if you take the most brilliant person on earth, he or she cannot know what you have in mind for your business and how you want you to deal with customers or with everything that happens in their daily life. So you need to tell them. It's easy. You need to set the rules and let them know what is the image that you want to have your company. Well, you have to transmit that, because people are the ones that will deal with your customers. So
yeah,
it's obvious, but today what is really sad to me is when I see companies that do not really mind of that. They don't take into consideration people they have, and they just consider that if they are paying them, they have to deliver. Okay, yes, but what do they deliver and how they do deliver? I mean, we base ourselves on communication. We cannot live without communication, of course, and it is very easy to get lost if you don't have directions. So if you need to start from the basics. Start from having people, choosing them for a reason, but then telling them what to do.
Yeah. Can we expand on that a little bit? Because you've now brought that up a couple times, and I actually would like to go a little deeper. Because back near the beginning of the episode, you talked about training, right? That was one of the best things that you experienced at Disney. That when you were there in guest services, that you were equipped and knew what to do. How can companies do right by this? What is it that companies need to be doing that they're not doing today to equip their employees to be able to deliver experiences that customers want?
Well, they need to know who they are, first of all. So we do sell bottled waters. Okay, why are we different? Why are we the best? Why are we? Ask questions to yourself, to your product, and then, of course, you have to see what is the plus that you can add to customers. But all of this, you cannot only imagine it and write it on a paper that will stick in a closet. You need everyone to know that, and everyone has to be aware that they work for the same company and they have the same clients. So training is fundamental, and it is important that to keep it updated as well. So it's not because today we set these rules that we cannot change them. If we see that generation changes, of course, our clients' and needs change as well. Of course, you will have to adapt the ways you respond and the arms, the weapons that you give to your employees. We live in a world of constant and repentant and immediate change. We need to adapt. So training is something that helps in that. You need to get how do you choose people? How do you choose the people that work for you? For the attitude, for the motivation. These are things that are important, more important than knowing what to do, because they're the skills, the ability to do something you can teach them. What you cannot teach them is how to relate themselves to the others. This is something that every person has to deal with by himself.
Yeah, absolutely. You found a very kindred spirit in that. And I realize that this isn't true of every industry, but hire happy people and train them the skills. And if someone's designing an airplane wing for Airbus, well, no, I think I want them to have skills. I don't care if they're cranky. I want them to be a good engineer. But in most places, hire happy people. I like that approach, and then we'll teach them the skills. I was thinking, we're kind of coming to the end of time here, which is unfortunate. But I was thinking about this. You mentioned something about what it was like after you left Disney. And I'm curious, when you're inside the Disney ecosystem, you probably think this is the way life is, and then you leave it. What surprises you most about the approach to customer and employee experience now that you've left Disney?
That I am in the real world.
Well, your words, but yes, I agree.
Well, I've had many experiences afterwards, and some of them are very happy. Others are not really happy experiences. And what I noticed right away, there was a big, huge gap. The first jobs that I got afterwards were a complete disaster after that point of view, because I couldn't help but comparing them to Disney, of course. And how can you, starting my working experience with Disney has been great, but at the same time has been a problem for me. It's been a real disaster because you start from here and then sometimes you need to go there, and it's complicated. So sometimes it was really, really sad. But then being a positive person and for how I am, I couldn't help but giving advices or tips, or just placing my 2 cents and saying, hey, maybe we could do this way. Maybe we could do that. Maybe we could. Sometimes it was, at the beginning, was not really well taken, because how can you know? I mean, what do you know? You just work for Disney.
Right.
Of course, yes. And that gives the idea of what kind of companies are around. But at the times it was important. It was just seen as a contribution, and it was, as such, it was considered. And today I'm very, very happy whenever I see that my ideas, like my colleagues' ideas, are considered and evaluated and eventually applied. So at first it was not easy. It takes adjustment, but you can do it.
Well, I'm glad that you have made that evolution into as you said, the quote real world. Francesca, I've really enjoyed having you on the show. Thank you for giving us the Disney story and so much of the wisdom that goes into that as well. If folks wanted to know a little bit more about you, your approach to customer and employee experience, or why Parisians are running away from Paris during the 2024 Olympics, how would folks get to know a little bit more about you?
They can keep in contact with me by LinkedIn. It's a nice way to talk, and I'll be glad to offer my help for any specific information related to Paris, to Disneyland, of course. Or customer experience. Today, here in France, I am starting to work with employee experience as a consultant, so I'll be glad to give my 2 cents about that.
Awesome. Well, I will get that in the show notes. Absolutely, Francesca. Truly, it's been a delight time at Disney. It's been a delight time at kind of post and what it means to really deal in this complex world of customer and employee experience. I thank you for the insights that you have shared, along with I hope that you do find your way to Thailand sometime soon. It really is an absolute delight of a place to be. Francesca, I do hope that you enjoy the rest of today, and certainly as you plan your summer exit as well. But today I do want to just tell you, Francesca, thank you for being on CX Passport.
Thank you for having Rick. It was really a pleasure.
Thanks for joining us this week on CX Passport. If you like today's episode, I have 3 quick next steps for you. Click subscribe on the CX Passport YouTube channel or your favorite podcast app. Next, leave a comment below the video or a review in your favorite podcast app so others can find and enjoy CX Passport too. Then head over to cxpassport.com for show notes and resources that can help you create tangible business results by delivering great customer experience. Until next time, I'm Rick Denton, and I believe the best meals are served outside and require a passport.